Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here for the third consecutive year, and I know you're talking about participative financing, but the idea today is to talk about finance in its largest terms. And it's a funny word, isn't it, finance? It has connotations, very different connotations. We're talking about positive finance. Who thinks, put your hands up if you think that finance is positive. Okay, maybe 10%, maybe 10%. So it's a very complicated concept to think of financing and being positive. So for us, finance is like crisis, isn't it? It matches up with the word crisis. Let me just check out my slides here. So the synonym of finance is crisis, because let's think about the history of the economy. The first economy was in Holland in 1637, when people lost money with tulip agriculture, and so there's been a crisis every two years since then. It doesn't matter whether it's monetary or financial crises. So finance matches up with crises. So 2 years ago, there was participative finance was created. The word was called, and so that's come as part of the semantics for finance. So finance crisis, finance means inequality, unbalance, and I wanted to try and understand what this word crisis really means. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I was born in '69, and the first time that I heard the word crisis was in 1980. I was with my family. So I don't particularly come from a political family, but Mitterrand won the elections, and so my mother went into the kitchen. She came up with a great plate full of sandwiches, and my grandmother looked at this and she said, she said, my God, the left have only been in power for 5 minutes. We're already eating only sandwiches. And that was the first time I heard the word crisis. So let's think about the word crisis. It's abominable, because I've been living with this since I was born. So in fact, in collective conscience, it means that something's not working. But over the past 50 years, we've been working with the same crisis. It means the word doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not suitable. It's not. It lacks the true meaning. So let's think about the 1980s. We were already in a crisis, weren't we? Today, when we talk about the 1980s, we talk about the financial years, the money years. So there's a problem with the semantics here. So in the first quarter of 2015, the 10 largest European banks. So we had 11 billion years. The top made $11 billion, and in fact they made billions and billions of dividends for their shareholders. Is that really representative of crisis? So we can see that it's not a true crisis. So there's a link with finances behind this last. Let's think about the crisis of 2008, and I asked I wanted an explanation from my friends who work in this area, and I said, what about all these scandals? We seem to be having the same type of crisis that keeps to be reoccurring, and one word kept coming out, and it was not being honest. And finance, they said it's finance means greed. So there seem to be barricades being put up, as it were. Are we going to let ourselves be submerged by neoliberal theories and let ourselves be swamped by finance throughout the world? Are we going to leave inequalities be created? Are we going to just barricade the rich countries and protect them from the poor countries? And are we going to be more humanitarian humanitarian? Are we going to let our children, are we going to say that there's barricades around Europe and this is because of the crisis? I mean, we just can't do that. So we're going to hide behind these walls? Are we putting, hiding our heads in the sand? And Arthur Bertrand said, it's too late to be pessimistic. We've got to really act today. And in the 1990s, Internet was born. Internet is a way to be able to be connected very, very quickly, and this enabled us today to be connected. If you're in Africa, you can follow you can follow an MIT course on Internet on your iBook, and it means you can exchange skills and what have you. We can link things, share things amongst ourselves, objects and what have you. And this to be interconnected so quickly, we can find solutions directly between us just by missing out the intermediaries that were normally involved. And this will change traditional finance. So Internet has developed in 2007. We had participative financing, and from this was born these platforms on the web where people were offering, offer their projects and are looking for finance. So in 2007, the first platform was created, and when we created the first one, people said, "You're absolutely crazy. How can you, once again, crisis, how can you, in a crisis, actually create this? How can people lend money and how can invest money in these projects?" And this seems absolutely mad. This is utopia, isn't it? So this segment has developed enormously. We've got platforms. We can give money to citizens. We created platforms to do this, like Versi, or where we're giving money to people we know and we don't know, and Hexago, and we're investing in various different projects. How does this work, and how's this utopia developed? This world developed in the 1990s and the 1990s to 2000. What we've discovered that the market is doubling every 10 years. So we're expecting 1,000 billion euros in 2020. We'll have financed several different projects throughout the world directly ourselves. And how does this work, and what are we financing? What we're financing? We're financing, it can be your kindergarten close by, it can be your studies, your children's study, it can be documentation, it can be documents on the website. Have you seen Mélanie Laurent's and Cyril's film last year? This was financed. We can lend money to small and medium-sized businesses who pay 5 to 10% interest. This is collaborative financing. How does it? We could talk about this as collective intelligence. These are projects thanks to you and thanks to us. We want to get involved with a community, understand what they want, and because of social networks, we can actually get to people who we wouldn't necessarily normally have contacted. So we have a little committee in order to be able to identify the projects on the platform, and so our record is 20,000 euros for an ice cream maker. So solutions. We're talking about this, about creating an economy of the peer-to-peer type, and the vital question is: do we have to wait for everything to be run by the politicians? Does everything have to be controlled by the institutions? Do we have to have a crisis, live within a crisis and a sort of a catastrophic financial situation, which is to the detriment of equality? The CEO of Walt Disney was earning about 40 times more than his salaried members, and now it's more than 500 times. So there's a lack of humanitarian values here. What you've got to ask yourselves: what can I do? What can I do as an individual? What responsibility can I take as an individual and act? If you saw the film, Cyril's film last night, a lot of responsibility is on the individual's part as a consumer. With finance, it's exactly the same thing. Today, you have the impression that finance is this sort of a big hole that we have no influence on and that we can't act on. and it will decide our future destinies. But it's a lie. It's misleading. There are several opportunities to change. So you can go on to KissKissBankBank and go and have a look at go and see whether or not you want to launch your artistic project, or maybe the next day you can maybe go on a third platform, which is destined for smaller, medium-sized companies, and you can go and invest 100, 200, 300 euros, and you will find that actually there are yields that is quite interesting for you. So if we are 500,000 French people or a million French people to just inject maybe 1,000 euros, then you'd be amazing. We'll be able to create an alternative economy. This is a responsible and participative economy. Send your money into the real economy and invest into projects that appeal to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Otherwise, we're just going to be sucked into the old-fashioned way of doing things. So what with the participative funding, what we want to do is we want to emancipate people's desires. We want to get out of this crisis that doesn't actually exist. And today, what we need to do is we need strong financing. We need financing that is at the service of the economy, and which we can help the economy, not an economy that's services finance. That's the wrong way around. And we want to be able to help humanity to progress, and we want it to be at the service of humanity. We don't want to service just a small part of the population. Think about that. Go and visit our platform. I want you to visit mine, but there are several hundred different sites. You can go and check them all out. The word today is have confidence as an individual, and be an economic agent in your own right. Break this old-fashioned view of financing. Get out of this. Get out of the box, and think about having control over your own money. Thank you very much.